Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to uncover some absolutely groundbreaking research about a hidden epidemic. And the crazy thing is, it's affecting the most successful, driven people among us. We're exploring the pioneering work of Dr. Judith Joseph, along with some really powerful insights from Mel Robbins, to finally put a name to the exhaustion so many people carry in silence, and more importantly, we're going to find a roadmap back to yourself. So let me ask you this right off the bat. Do you ever feel completely empty despite your outward success? If you're constantly the strong one in your family or your friend group, the person literally everyone relies on, yet you feel like you are pouring energy from an absolutely empty cup? Well, this explainer is specifically for you. If you have this nagging restlessness, this sinking feeling that your own joy is just kind of fading away, even though you're keeping it all together for everyone else, you are exactly who we need to be talking to today. It's wild, because this exhaustion often completely masks itself as ambition. As Mel Robbins notes in the foreword to this material, a lot of high-functioning individuals use constant motion to cover up a fading sense of fulfillment. She openly admits she was basically addicted to busyness, using it as a shield. Think about it. How often do you ignore what you're really feeling just because you've convinced yourself you simply don't have the time to feel it? You just jump right to the next task, the next obligation, the next fire to put out.
Section 1. A doctor's hidden struggle.
Okay, paint a picture with me here. It's April 2020 in New York City, the super early, really dark days of the pandemic. You could literally walk through Times Square and see maybe 2 or 3 other people. Storefronts all down Fifth Avenue were boarding up their windows. It was surreal. And right in the middle of this intense collective trauma, top psychiatrist Dr. Judith Joseph is working late into the evening. It's around 8 p.m., and she's prepping a PowerPoint presentation on coping with trauma for other healthcare workers. And right there, organizing her thoughts in this empty, quiet office, she hit her own absolute breaking point. What's really fascinating here is the stark, almost unbelievable contrast between her outer success and her inner reality. Because on paper, her career was absolutely booming. Her clinic was literally the only one in the entire building still open because her lab was running crucial FDA studies. Her media career was completely taking off, and she had just been invited to join an elite group of women in medicine at Columbia University. But inside, pushing through immense stress, terrified of failing her employees, her clinical trial participants, and her family, her inner reality was a completely different story. Physically, her stomach was rumbling, her eyes were so heavy, and she was barely holding back tears. Sitting there, organizing a presentation ironically titled, "Coping with the New Norm," she pulled her hands away from the keyboard and just spoke these exact words aloud to herself. "I think I'm depressed." Now, remember, she is a highly trained psychiatrist. Yet she was caught entirely off guard by this realization. I mean, if an absolute expert in mental health can miss this in themselves, how easily could the rest of us miss it?
Moving right along to Section 2, the mask of high functioning.
Literally the very next day, Dr. Judith was on a joint Zoom call presenting to 200 overwhelmed healthcare practitioners, and she's flawlessly masking a fluttering voice, hurried breathing, darting eyes, all while talking to them about emotional trauma. It wasn't until an associate off-camera noticed she was teetering right on the edge of her emotions. They walked over and simply whispered, "Is everything all right?" She was the one supposed to be healing these people, but she desperately needed healing herself.
So you're probably wondering, right? How did she not know she was depressed before that exact moment? Well, the truth is, she didn't check the traditional boxes. She wasn't bursting into tears on the subway. She was getting out of bed. She was organizing her daughter's birthday parties. She was the one bringing bagels into the morning meetings. She was absolutely crushing it at work. The traditional textbook image of depression simply didn't match her day-to-day reality.
Instead of that traditional deep sadness or the inability to function, her real symptoms looked completely different. It was this severe inner restlessness, an extreme, almost frantic need to just stay busy all the time. She was functioning through profound, bone-deep exhaustion, and perhaps most tellingly, and a lot of you might relate to this, she had this terrifying conviction that if she actually slowed down, something catastrophic was going to happen. She was highly functioning, sure, and she was suffering so deeply just beneath the surface.
Which brings us to Section 3, the missing medical diagnosis. So Dr. Judith starts digging, and her search led her straight to a concept called high-functioning depression, or HFD. Essentially, it's that specific exhaustion, that numbness, and that intense restlessness you feel when you are keeping it all together for literally everybody else while your own personal joy just fades away. But here is the massive catch. It is entirely absent from the official diagnostic manual.
Yep, shockingly, as she discovered in her lab research, high-functioning depression doesn't even appear in the DSM-5. Now, if you don't know, that's the primary manual that psychiatrists rely on for diagnosing conditions. This means the medical literature is literally miles behind what people out in the real world are actually experiencing. Medical science hasn't officially named or recognized what millions of highly successful, driven people are currently suffering from every single day.
And finally, Section 4. Reclaiming your points of joy.
Okay, so how do we fix this? The solution she found actually completely flips our standard understanding of happiness right on its head. As Dr. Judith powerfully states, happiness isn't a grand destination, it's a series of small moments, points of joy. We all make this mistake, right? We treat happiness like it's a finish line we finally get to cross after all the hard work is done. But instead, we need to completely redefine it as these tiny, accessible moments scattered throughout our everyday lives.
And these points of joy, they are incredibly simple. We're not talking about booking a massive 2-week vacation or completely overhauling your life. A point of joy is just sending a quick text to a friend when you're feeling a little lonely. It's simply giving yourself permission to actually sit down and rest when your cup is empty. It's actively seeking connection when you need to feel supported. These are super manageable, bite-sized moments of relief that pull you right out of that frantic cycle of high-functioning exhaustion.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really vital question to reflect on. In your daily addiction to busyness, in your relentless drive to keep the whole shebang together for everyone else around you, how many of these small points of joy are you rushing right past every single day? Honestly, it's time to stop ignoring what you really feel, drop that mask of constant motion, and start claiming those moments back for yourself.